Hello everyone, and welcome to an educational video. Today's video is about military modeling 1 to 32 scale. Now what you see in front of you is a castle, a miniature castle. It could be considered a diorama or a dollhouse. If it's a diorama, usually the figures cannot move. Well, our figures can, so maybe it's more of a dollhouse. In military modeling, it's more than just playing with soldiers, although it is playing with soldiers too. It's also about creating a battle that may have occurred in history using realistic weapons and armor and equipment on your soldiers. So let's look at this now. Let's look at our castle and understand the parts. Now, part of military modeling is understanding history. So our castle is based on an Eastern European castle that my grandmother saw many years ago, and she's the one who made this castle. But when you learn about military modeling, you learn about history. So you need to look at books about castles and things like that to help you better understand what happened. Okay, let's look at this castle. First thing we're going to start here in the front, right here. This is the drawbridge. This, with these chains, goes up and down. Here are the gates to the castle. And then this here is called the gatehouse. The gatehouse. Inside we have this other gate that goes up and down with spikes on the bottom. This is called a portcullis. A portcullis. That's kind of cool. Now also in our castle we have towers. We have 2 towers. In the towers we've got arrow slits. And then we have battlements. Battlements. Behind the battlements we have ramparts. Let's look at the inside of the castle and see what we can find. Alright everyone, so in the castle here we have the Great Hall. Now in the center of the castle we have this inner courtyard or bailey. And then over here the tallest tower can also be known as the keep. Now you'll notice in the keep here at the bottom there is a treasure chest. And yes, I filled that with coins from Europe. So there's a lot of old coins in there from many countries in Europe that nobody uses anymore. Yeah, so that's kind of fun. So in the castle inside, you can also see a better view of the ramparts here. These are again where the soldiers would stand behind the battlements. We've got some stairs. On each side there, which is nice. And you've got kind of like, this could be a stable underneath the Great Hall. So you actually have quite a lot of space inside this castle to set up other things as you may want to. Now again, we're dealing with 1 to 32 scale. Now our tops do come off the towers, so you can work inside the tower and set soldiers in there however you like. Also, our Great Hall opens up. Now this is a slightly different scale. That is not 1/32 scale, so we're not going to be using that for later in our show. Okay? All right, so again, military modeling is about learning and understanding about real battles and real things that happened in the past. Now what we're going to do is not necessarily a real battle, but it's going to be based on historical items and weapons and thinking of the past. All right, now with that in mind, let's take a break and see what kind of soldiers are going to appear in our castle. All right, everyone, so now our dollhouse or diorama, we have a battle going on. Again, all these soldiers are 1 to 32nd scale. So you've got knights and then some enemies there, some soldiers fighting against the knights. So we see here on the drawbridge, got mounted troops against other mounted troops starting to fight each other. Also have some infantry on the bridge there, on the drawbridge. Outside along the side of the castle, we also have some fighting going on. More enemy troops coming in on both sides. Some knights fighting there. We got knights sneaking, or enemy troops sneaking in along the side. If we look here in the tower, the arrow slits we actually have cannons. And then on the battlements, we've got archers. And then here's our king up here, and maybe his squad, another cannon. Now, cannons and archers maybe don't go together, but maybe it's not totally realistic. So in each arrow slit there, we've got cannons. Again, you got archers up on the battlements, got some other protectors there. More archers up here with the king. And hey, up here in the keep, I actually have a catapult. And some sneaky bad guys. They got a rope up there, and they're sneaking in to maybe attack the catapult. And then down here also, got some bad guys on a rope that caught up there, and they're trying to sneak in the castle on the side. If we look inside the castle, we see in the inner courtyard of the bailey, see a lot of troops running around and getting ready to stop the attack. We've got troops up on the little walkway there defending as well. So again, a lot of stuff's going on here with your military modeling. Now, is this playing with soldiers? Yes or no. We could be creating recreating a real battle. But again, this is more just fun to have a catapult. This is a catapult with a cannon and then with archers, right? But again, these are 1/32 scale soldiers, and their weapons, again, tell a story, and they are real in of themselves, right? So here you have two mounted soldiers that have the jousting. You got the jousting poles. For weapons, you've got swords and axes, halberds. Halberd here. Here's your axe, swords. You've got spears, people throwing spears. Again, you've got your archers. You've got people, I don't know if there's easy to see, but here in the keep, he's got a mace. That's a mace. And all these weapons in these soldiers will come out, and you can switch them around or put in. And they're all realistic weapons, right? So you got swords, maces, axes, archers, halberds. You also have long swords. Let's look inside one of the towers with a cannon, and you can see there are troops in there, and another kind of a mace and a long sword. Looks like they're getting that little cannon ready to shoot through the arrow slit there, or the shooting port, right? So again, it's kind of fascinating. Military modeling, there's a lot of different things you can do, but it's about, recreating maybe types of battles or imagined battles that occurred in historical times. You may want to take reference of books like this that tell you about the weapons of the past, right? Very useful. And again, these are real weapons they're holding, and you can imagine. Again, a lot of this military modeling is you're telling a story. You're telling a story about a battle that happened in the past. And you're trying to understand, what were these people feeling? What were the kinds of weapons they were using? It was a tough time, and everyone, they were all brave, and they're fighting maybe for what they believe in, or maybe they didn't believe in it. But it's an interesting way to think about history and work with history and understand things that happened in the past. Now again, this could be considered, if these pieces did not move, it could be considered a diorama, a military diorama. But because we can move these pieces, then this is maybe more toy soldiers. But there's nothing to say this is not a realistic type of battle that could have happened at some place, sometime. So if you're reading about a battle and you have something you want to set up, you may recreate part of it like this to kind of better understand, what was going on. So it seems like the people in the castle, they're in good shape, but it's hard to say, right? You got people sneaking in from different sides. So again, military modeling offers you a lot of fun and options you can have to create different battles and learn about different battles of the past. And also, again, most important thing, you're telling a story and you're imagining what may have happened or could have happened. All right, well, let's try another one. Let's see what else we can do with our castle. All right, everyone. Wow, the knights are gone, and now it looks like German soldiers from World War II have moved in. The drawbridge is up, And it looks like we have some pillboxes here there. And they've got machine guns in there. And if you look closely down below, they got a flamethrower in there. So it looks like they're ready. In each of the arrow slits now, you don't have a cannon. Well, I guess you do have a cannon, but it's an anti-tank gun. Both have anti-tank guns. And here, down below, you have a tank hunter tank that was real. And again, take advantage of books that tell you about those type of weapons that were true weapons in World War II. In the gate tower now, in the gatehouse, we've got some machine guns up there, a small cannon, looks like a commander's there talking to the radio man. And so we have a lot going on here. Let's look in the courtyard in the Bailey and see what we have. All right, so in the courtyard now we can see a lot going on here. We've got a German armored car here, a bunch of soldiers running around. Got kind of their Jeep running there, a motorcycle with a sidecar, another motorcycle. Also here we've got a Tiger tank with some kill rings on the barrel. And again, take advantage. That's a real tank from history. So take advantage of books that can help you understand things. In the keep here on the top, we've got an anti-aircraft gun, right? It's a German 88. Got some shells there. There's actually a guy there behind there manning that gun. So the Germans are in this castle. They looks like they're ready for a battle. Actually, in World War II, there were a couple battles in castles. There was one, you can look it up if you want, there was one battle that involved Germans and Americans fighting other Germans in a castle. So again, interesting there. Well, these Germans look like they're ready for a fight, so let's see how it turns out. Let's take a look. And so now it looks like some British and American troops have showed up to do a fight here. Again, all these soldiers are in a 1/32 scale. So here's our British forces here. Looks like they have some type of an anti-tank gun. They have a Sherman tank, got some of a Jeep. They've got their mortar crew, just like Germans have a mortar crews over here. They've got Bren guns, their standard rifle issue. Got people throwing grenades. Over here in the Americans, we've got our Lee Grant tank. We've got a Jeep with a 50 caliber machine gun that the Germans were afraid of. They didn't like that gun at all. Looks like a 105. Got guys with M1 rifles. Got some bazookas, M3 grease guns. Some guys fighting there. So a lot's going on. And again, take advantage of the books that you may find that tell you about those weapons. So the Lee Grant, you can find books on that. And then the Sherman tank, you can find books on that. So again, not just like playing with soldiers, but more, again, military modeling has a more historical take on it. You're trying to recreate an experience that may have happened in a battle in the past. Maybe if you're doing knights, or you're doing World War II, or you're doing the Korean War, or the Vietnam War, or whatever war. Military modeling has a lot of options for you. And you can go out and find all kinds of soldiers for the period, the time period you're interested in. So it's fascinating. There's lots of things you can do with military modeling. There's lots of models out there of different types and kinds. Some are plastic, some are metal. You've got different kind of setups you have, like these pillboxes. I didn't make those. Those were already made, right? And then all these other things. This Jeep is metal. This truck's metal. This is some metal and some plastic. Some metal and some plastic. This anti-tank gun's all metal. This one's all plastic. So there's a lot of fun things out there for you to explore with military modeling. Common size is 1/32, but you also have 1/35 is very common. Some people like bigger models at maybe 1/16. Some people like even smaller models at 1/72. If you've got a real big battlefield you want to have, you may go with a smaller scale military modeling. So I hope you have enjoyed this video about military modeling. So there's a fine line between military modeling and a diorama and just playing toy soldiers. So I'll let you decide what this is, or if this is something you're interested in. There's a lot of fun stuff out there for you to investigate. I hope you enjoyed this time with me looking at this castle set with a few different battle groups and military modeling, 1/32 scale. Thank you very much and have a fun time modeling.